Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes podcast. I'm Bert Lepore. He's Samuel Monte Carlo. We're hanging here with Angry Mike D, and we talk about music, movies, and so much more.
All right, we're back. Another episode, Mixtapes and Head Cases. Episode 36. This one we're going to talk about the fight from the other night, as you see behind Bert.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the state of rock as it is right now in 2021.
If there is a state of rock.
If there is a rock.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, man. So, I don't know. What you think, Dame, about the Mayweather Logan Paul fight?
Well, honestly, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the highlights, and I guess the controversy is that he didn't really knock him out.
Yeah, that he kind of held him up a little bit.
Yeah. It just kind of, to me, who the hell knows anymore? I mean, he looks like he hit him in the back of the head. He kind of fell into him, fell on him, kind of held him up a little bit.
It was okay. It looked like Paul was really trying. You know, I mean, he's a big kid.
He looked really awkward.
Yeah.
If anything, you know.
Well, let's not. It's, I guess, in true form of boxing, it's probably kind of awkward too for a big guy to, fight a little guy like that.
What's his height?
He's got to be about 6'2", I think.
At least.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was
like 200 pounds, 6'2", 200, something like that.
I think he was more than 2. Definitely more than 2.
But Mayweather is like, what's Mayweather? 5'6"?
They say he walked in there was like 155.
Mayweather, yeah, which means he probably was less than that when he fought.
Huh.
But
maybe not, because I don't think he's going to try to bulk up to lose that water weight during that. There's no reason for him to.
Yeah, so. I mean, Mayweather does what he does. He kind of just like waited. He caught him with a good shot, and I think that's the shot that everybody's talking about, where it looks like he hits him and he kind of falls on him, and it looks like Mayweather. Mike actually pointed out, he's like, look, he's holding him up, and it kind of looked like he was holding him up, in like the 4th round or something, so it would go 8, But Mayweather said it. Mayweather said it's a legalized heist,
Well, just remember, I mean, like, they kept pushing the thing. It's just an exhibition.
Yeah.
It didn't have any judges there. I guess if somebody would have got knocked out there, that we would have just had a winner, but it was meant to be an exhibition with nobody getting knocked out.
Yeah, so that's probably why they did it. Yeah.
I'm sure, both of those guys did some WWE in the past. So who knows? I'm sure they used maybe a little bit of training they had from doing that and incorporated it into their fight. So.
Yeah, but just, I don't know, man. Boxing in general is just really taken ever since MMA came up.
MMA really pushed out boxing.
Because I think anybody who wants to compete like that, any kid coming up who would have been a boxer probably wants to be an MMA guy now.
Absolutely. When we were kids, it was boxing and karate, Yeah. Like in the 70s and 80s, it was all boxing and karate. Everybody's watching the karate movies and they're all walking down the street doing the karate moves and,
Well,
right.
I think there's more action in it, though, now. Like,
what, MMA?
MMA.
Yeah.
Definitely more action in it.
Yeah, it's like a street ball. I mean, that's what people want to see,
I mean, there's rules in there. Some stuff you can't do.
Yeah.
I think boxing also lost its flash. It doesn't have those guys like it had in the past. Like, well, I mean, Muhammad Ali. There was nobody better than that with the shit talking.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had guys like Mike Tyson, who, man, he had the look of a killer in there, and he got in the ring and he killed everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was. They knew how to cut promos, It was like watching wrestling. They knew how because they had to sell the fight. I mean, it's.
You got to put asses in the seats.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. They need to bring in foreign objects now or something.
There's stuff that goes on in boxing. Believe me, there's foreign objects.
Yeah, they need to do something. I mean,
I heard that they say that MMA is actually somehow safer than boxing. I don't truly get it. But what they were saying is the boxing
gloves?
glove makes it more dangerous
Right.
Really?
than getting hit with just a fist.
Well, because you're not going to. What is it? It's like hockey too. They say the same thing. Years ago, the old hockey players, the padding, and football players too. The padding wasn't as good as it is now. So you got all this padding and protection, or boxing gloves, if they're different now too. You're going to put everything you have into it because you're not going to feel it. But the other guy, actually, probably both parties will. There's more. I mean, when you don't have anything, you're not going to go full steam and like barrel somebody like you would if you have a ton of padding
Equipment on there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a ton of
Yeah, I mean, you're going to hurt your hand or whatever the deal is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like MMA probably hurt wrestling and boxing because, even the wrestling stuff, once you get in a hold in MMA, they tap. It's like immediate. It's not like the Ric Flair, I'm wearing your leg down.
Because you know why? Because if they don't tap, that leg's getting broken. The ankle's getting snapped.
Mm-hmm.
You tap or you're going to have some recovery time.
Right.
So, the choice is yours. Be a man or, not make money.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how many more of these shit show boxing, celebrity kind of / boxing shows they're going to do, but they made a lot of money, man. They made a lot of money on it. So you'll probably see another one.
They're kind of fun in a way, like when it's like two guys that aren't boxers kind of go at it.
Yeah.
Some of those Jose Canseco ones are a little interesting, if I remember. They're bad, but
since the celebrity boxing or whatever you want to call it is like a thing now, why don't they get? They should have got years ago, like Stallone versus like a real boxer.
Yeah.
Like how come we never did that?
They were trying to build that fight as a Rocky in the beginning before they were talking about like. Oh, well, they're like, this is like Rocky. It's like, but I could have sworn they said, well, Rocky won at the end. It was like, no, Rocky didn't win at the end of the first one.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So,
well, I mean, listen, there's a reason why there's weight classes. Like Mayweather wouldn't have fought a professional if he was that weight class. It just wouldn't happen. There's a reason for weight classes.
I think if Mayweather wanted to, he would have knocked the shit out of him. He would have been in there with flurry. He would have tagged him up so much.
Mayweather's a point boxer, though. He gets points. He's a smart boxer, strategic boxer.
Right.
He's not really a power puncher,
Look, I'm sure if he was fighting a Goliath like that, he's going to go in there and try to knock this fucker out. He's going to be like, it's just an ego thing,
Yeah.
He wouldn't be toying and dancing around. He'd want to get this, I'm going to knock this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a show. All right, so that's all we have on the Logan Paul Mayweather fight. You know what I mean? So the discussion today, who will save rock and roll? In a world where country music has become more rock and roll than rock, rappers are taunting the dark side and the dark side of the soul more than metal bands now. Like, that's bizarre to me. They're all mystique. They have this mystique about them where rock bands used to have that. Now it's all the rappers have that now. And they become more edgy, more mysterious. Rock and roll right now, it's like a bunch of emo, whiny kids. Every song has this real, it's either this real heavy vocal screamy thing that it goes into this big progressive metal melodic part. I mean, it's been done 1,000 times. I can't even tell the bands from each other.
No, I mean, I think they all sound the same.
They do. And then the other part of the coin or other side of the coin is then you have the everybody's doing that Korn kind of grungy verse. And then you have, the little soft-spoken kind of emo thing into the fucking Phil Phillips, oh, parts, where there are all the O's. It's just, man, it's the same song over and over again.
Phil Phillips.
The Phil Phillips part. So, I don't know. It sounds
you got
like
me on that one.
It sounds like an ad for Coca-Cola. I mean, it just sounds like a commercial, these songs. And I don't know if it's that, I don't know. It's like you have bands that are copycat bands that are influenced by the masters or the masters of the copycat themselves, like the Greta Van Fleet, And it's like, I don't know if it's one of those things where are we just old? And, maybe we just don't see it like we did when we were younger because it was different. Or is it that bad?
There was no like the guy from the Strokes, Luke Spiller. That dude's a rock star. Like, he wants to be a rock star. He wants to be, you know, you'll hear their songs in commercials. Like, they're really pushing that band. And I like a few songs. I'm not like, you know, if somebody's going to come out of it and be a band and be like the band to do it, it's got to be a band like that. If not them, because you need a fucking star front man up front. Somebody,
and none of these guys have stage presence. It's weird,
right? But this guy does.
Yeah,
he likes to party. He wants, you know, everything like from the great frontmen from back in the day. This guy wants to do and is trying to do that, you know. And dude, they did a duet with Kesha. They had her on one, so they have all the ingredients, like everything,
right,
to propel them into the pop world, you know.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's like they're not heavy enough to be on rock radio. They're not pop enough to be on pop radio.
It's a weird spot.
There's a weird spot for them. So every album, I think, keeps on getting better. Again, not like I'm a huge fan. I don't know I don't know
enough
a ton about them, but I know enough. But there's no like. Basically, there's no Ozzy's, there's no Steven Tyler's.
Right. I was going to say there's no timeless. Like, look, I mean, bands that lasted generations: Kiss, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, the Zeppelins, the Doors, the Beatles, the Stones. These are bands that broke through, and each generation hits that point where they listen to these bands. Pink Floyd. It's like, are we going to see another one of those bands? Like, what was the last band like that? Nirvana?
Well, besides the music, it's not. When people say it's all about the music, it's not. It's a one ingredient. You got to be able to sell something, to market something. You need somebody who's going to want to be in the spotlight. Like the rappers, they have all the ingredients.
Right.
They want it. They want the bling. They want the fancy cars. They want to live in a mansion. They show it off. They want to be on the red carpet. They want to have the hot girlfriend or whatever. That's what rock stars do. So when these guys, if somebody said it a year ago, we're the new rock stars now. Or
it's the truth.
It's truth. How can you argue with that? It's 1,000% true.
Yeah.
Now the the rock bands, they have Deer Park spring water in the back. There's no Jack Daniels anymore.
Yeah.
Like they're all not that there's anything wrong with it, but they're all like vegan.
Yeah.
They don't like they're very health conscious and like a total opposite of like fucking shit up.
Dude,
just doing everything.
They all have
fucking
like
their bodies up.
They look like, like they're going to college and they film the video in between classes. Like,
well, there's no danger.
They all have
That's
like
what
the short, little dyed tip haircuts, and
dude,
they look like a bunch of preppies.
I got a funny story for you, and this is true. Last Sunday, me and my wife, my sister-in-law, we go to the mall. Now, nobody's wearing masks. The mask thing's up in Jersey. So we're going in the mall. We're going in the stores inside the mall. Every store, fine, didn't have the mask on. I walked into the one store that you think they wouldn't give a fuck. I walked into like that one of those mystic stores that have like the occult stuff and all that. Yeah. And the lady comes up and goes, "Listen, my manager, you can't stay without the mask." I'm like, the one store that should be the opposite of everybody else in general, they should be, the scary store. The scary store is afraid of the fucking, come on. What a bunch of fakes. What a bunch of fakes.
Yeah.
It sounds fake,
that's
right?
Pretty funny, man.
Yeah. What a bunch of phony balonies.
Yeah. Well, if they want the music to succeed, they want it back on like the awards shows, and they want people, they want to put rock back in the forefront. 40, 50-year-old fans aren't going to do that. I'm sorry.
Right.
It started out with rock and roll was for teenagers.
Yeah.
Always will be. It's always been for the young generation and the young at heart, So
I
guess we're the young at heart.
We are. Yeah. What appealed to us as kids still appeals to teenagers now. It's like anything that's going to piss off your parents, piss off people in general. You're gonna look different. You know, that's what these fucking rappers, they have tattoos on their faces now, and they just want it. It's like shocking people. It's shocking. You know,
yeah, but a lot of these kids like are very literal with stuff though too, which is like, man, if they listen to some of the stuff that we listen to, like there'd be a bunch of serial killers.
Yeah.
You know, it's a weird generation, man. It's like, you know, like they follow what video games do and rap music and stuff like that. It's just crazy. You know, they're very impressionable with this generation under us.
Yeah. I mean, fantasy's fantasy, you know?
But, you know, we did the same thing when we were kids, and you didn't see as much of this stuff when we were younger. You know, we played violent video games. We listened to violent music.
Well, you know, people knew right from wrong. You know,
right.
But then there was the people who took the satanic stuff a little too literal, and went into would grab the next door neighbor's cat or a squirrel and go sacrifice it or something.
People that didn't really get it, you
know, because they thought that Slayer was into that or something.
Yeah, it's all about money at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's all about making money. It's what's called the music business. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we'll go through some, you know, we'll take turns going through some names and stuff with bands and what we think of them. So I'm going to start off, you know, we could just riff off here. I'm going to start off with, you know, some bands that they're pushing. Dirty Honey. Now, I listened to that California song, and I know they're getting pushed, and a lot of people like them, but it really didn't do nothing for me. Like, I was like, it's okay. It's good for what it is, but it's okay. I mean, what do you think? Did you hear any of the Dirty Honey stuff?
Yeah, I mean, heard stuff from the first EP that came out like a year ago. I liked it. You know, it's we're just kids playing rock and roll, but it seems like School of Rock kids or something.
Yeah, it's not going to save rock and roll. They're not going to be the next big stars.
Maybe not. But I think with them, with a collection of a bunch of bands like that, if I was a promoter, I would put a tour together with like them, Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, it would
Rival
fit.
Sons,
a
couple other bands.
I'm going to make that sound every time I hear that name.
Rival Sons.
No, Greta Van Fleet.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I'm not a huge fan, but there's no denying. Look, if that's what's going to bring people back, then go for it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'd rather have that than nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you had no other choice.
He's a miserable prick anyway.
Are we jumping? I want to save some of this for after, because I don't want to jump into, and I feel almost bad about what I'm going to say, but I don't know. Go ahead and let's finish this, because I could do a whole chapter on this Greta Van Fleet thing.
Well, let's go. Let's go right into Greta Van Fleet.
You want to just? I heard them a few years ago, and I'm like, you know what? They're pretty good, and I honestly thought it was a girl singer. And I'm like, they sound like Zeppelin. And it's weird, because I would have accepted it more if it was a girl singer, because, you know, I mean, that's her range. And right. It's, and then I'm like, wait, that's a dude. And then, look, I hate sounding like the prick. Then I saw what they looked like. And I'm like, you know, first off, they are a Led Zeppelin clone. Yeah. You know, 50 years later. So I understand it's a long time, but, you know, this is a different age than we lived in. When you copied a band 50, 60 years ago, not too many people heard of that band back then. You know, it was like maybe a band they saw at the club that didn't get the recognition or whatever, but you're copying one of the biggest rock bands in the world, almost to a T.
Yeah, even the look's kind
of. But
then you got the. What's that? Go ahead, Dean.
But there's one thing that they could have everything, every ingredient. They could have the look. They could rip off the songs, but Zeppelin fucked shit up back then, and these
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, no. I think the singer don't have any stage presence.
Nothing, dude. I saw that. I did watch that Saturday Night Live one where they said how bad he was. It was bad. He actually looked like he was doing a Saturday Night Live skit. Like he was like and he looked like a hobbit. What was he wearing, man? He was wearing like that Indian stuff. Like, I don't know what it was, but like he has no stage presence. Like he had the outfit on, but he's just like
it's an acquired taste.
No,
says
it's
no.
not, man. It's not an acquired taste. It's a like he had a bunch of like family members that were rock stars and they needed a singer. Like this guy can carry a tune, but he's the one that's not. He shouldn't be in the band. He's got a decent voice, but he ain't ready for rock band. He ain't ready.
The band's really good, though. I mean,
Dude,
absolutely.
Out of all the young bands, they're the biggest one out there right now. Yeah. They're selling out large theaters, and
I guess this is a rock star for a generation that pops a bunch of pills. You know, not much movement, not much presence, and they probably think this guy's hopping all over the fucking stage. This guy's doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm not. Believe me,
nothing.
I am not.
Look, if you're going to rip off Led Zeppelin, rip them off. Act like Robert playing up there. Fucking come on, man.
I'll tell you what, like, though. I think the rest of the band has stage presence, though.
Absolutely.
I think the rest of the band does.
They need a new singer. I don't care if it's their brother, family member, whatever. You need a new
singer.
What?
His voice is good, but it goes in that high range where you can't understand. He's got his thing. He's got his thing. And, you know, I couldn't do that. You know, he's got his thing.
I'm glad you couldn't do that.
But listen, there's no denying the kids are all talented. They're talented. He looks like the one that don't fit. It's not so much the voice. It's the stage presence is kind of, if you're going to be a front man, you know, I believe it's either you got to have this huge stage presence or you don't even have to do nothing. You could just stand there, but you got to have a presence about you, you know?
Right. I mean,
Danzig don't move too fast.
He looks like he's doing,
but you know there's something, you know.
When they first came out, it's probably been about 4 years now. I saw the video. If you watched their first video, they didn't look the way they did a year after or whatever.
Well, he looked like a kid, man, right?
Yeah.
Well,
they look
like they're young.
Now it's like they wear like costumes, but it seemed like it was overnight when that happened. When they put out their first video and nobody knew who they were. They wore like regular jeans and t-shirts, just like normal, like kids. And then like once they got on tour, it's like somebody told them, okay, you guys, everybody says you sound like Zeppelin or a 70s band. Now you got to dress like them. Yeah. Then they've been wearing all that stuff ever since.
I don't mind the crazy gimmick stuff.
When I saw the video when it first came out, I said, I kind of liked it. And then I saw them live at, my work sent me to a festival in Louisville. This is like 3 months after that. Now they're starting to become a buzz. And I wanted to see this band. Everybody was buzzing about.
Everybody was saying they're going to be huge. Yeah.
Everybody's in front of the stage watching them. And they came out and they did every Zeppelinism. The singer's moving like them. The bass player for a song, he plays keyboards like John Paul Jones. The drummer's playing a Ludwig drum set like Bonham. It definitely, like, from there I was like,
they made it. I'll give them credit for that. But besides that, you know what? They should have just been a Led Zeppelin cover band.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, if I was a promoter, if I was the manager of Dirty Honey or whoever else band who's like coming up, I would want to get a tour with all those bands.
It would make sense. It would.
Whether they like them or not. I would, like, if I was in Dirty Honey, I would fight to be on a tour with them because I think it would be good competition. It would be a good marketable tour, you know.
Yeah. Now on the plus side of things, because we are older guys, on the plus side of things is this young generation is getting into that sound, which is kind of cool. And it's, you know, it's a sound that they're not used to. You know what I mean? Because, you know, going from the grunge sound and then the 2000 sounds, whatever you want to call it, whatever that was. But it gives them that throwback sound. Maybe they don't know Zeppelin. Maybe they'll find Zeppelin through these guys, which is kind of cool.
I think a lot of kids do. I think a lot of kids do know that stuff from their, you know,
parents and stuff.
From their parents and from like the school rock kids. Like, they teach them all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they know all the Hendrix and Zeppelin and Cream, like
the timeless stuff,
man.
That stuff's timeless.
Yeah, that stuff. Like, they know and they really appreciate that stuff. So when they form their own bands, they're going to be playing that stuff. And there's no, you know, like, we came up in the, you know, we know the 70s, 80s, 90s stuff.
Great time. We came up at a great time.
certain bands didn't like each other, and
Yeah.
grunge, you're not allowed to like this. Well, those kids don't think that way.
Yeah.
They'll wear a Nirvana shirt and play a Poison song. That's like, dude, that's like a cardinal sin, taboo. You can't do that. But these kids now, like, they don't think that way.
No.
They don't know about all the competition and all that stuff. So they're like open-minded. There's no, there's
anything goes kind of
cloud in their vision. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty open-minded on what I listen to, and I have a deep end which I go to, and then there's the pop end, the stuff I'll listen to. But I don't know, it's too much. Like, incorporate things into your band that you like from that band, but don't incorporate the whole band into your band.
I mean, listen, everybody takes something from everybody. It's just influence.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't have a problem with that.
Here's the thing. The subject that we're on, who will save rock and roll? Would Greta Van Fleet save rock and roll? Only if they change it up. Only if they get the buzz and change it up.
It's, remember, like, years ago, it was any decade, even in the 2000s. A new band was a band who was around for a year, 2 years. After 3-4 years, you're not a new band anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you're probably on your second, third record. You've been around.
Yeah.
Greta Van Fleet's been around for 4 or 5 years. They're still considered a new band? Ghost is still considered a new band. They've been around for
we'll
10
get to them. Yeah. Yeah.
The Foo Fighters, people still think they're a new band.
And they've been out for 25 years. Yeah.
Evanescence, people still consider them a new band. Their first record came out 19 years ago.
Yep. Ain't that crazy?
So, like, the whole new band concept,
nobody blew the doors open.
It hasn't really happened. I mean,
who is like, okay, the last band, I'm going to include Ghost here, so I'll say Ghost. But besides that, the last band for me that's had a big buzz was Ghost. And then before that was probably Disturbed and Godsmack. They were the last, like, wow bands for me. Like, oh, wow,
Yeah, that's 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. There's and like I said, it could be that we're older now,
Greta Van Fleet had a big buzz. Before them would probably be, I know the Struts, when they came out,
they had a buzz.
Before that, they had a buzz.
Yeah.
But none of those bands have really like started touring arenas and been like a festival headliner. You know what I mean? Ghost, and they've been around 10 years. They're probably, out of the new bands, are probably the ones with the biggest success, I think.
Yeah, and I tried to listen to the Struts. I tried to listen to the Strokes, and it was okay. I heard they're great live. I heard both of them are good live, but it's okay. It was okay, but it didn't really, like I said, it just didn't. It wasn't like that. But like I said, it could be the age thing. If we seen Guns N' Roses at this age, would it be different than when we seen them at 16? Yeah, I'm sure.
Good music is good music, man. It doesn't matter. I hear there's new records coming out all the time that I love.
Yeah.
Not as many as I used to.
Yeah.
Love.
Used to have like 5 a week that were coming out. It was great.
I also think the quality isn't as good as it used to be because people are putting everything out themselves.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, years ago when they were signed to record labels, they had the producer, the A&R guy, the head at the label, this guy, that guy. Now it's like there's no record label. You have the artist creating it and your producer, and maybe your manager will give you some input. There's no grooming of the artist kind of deal. There's no quality control.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's not as, so you're not getting the same type of quality, but all these bands, man, I checked them all out, and there's like 1 or 2 songs on a record that I really
that's
like,
where I'm at.
Nobody really has like every song is great, or nobody's putting out like classic records anymore.
Yep. Now, Dame, you got a band that you want to throw out there next?
Not really. I mean,
how about Black Veil Brides?
That's a band I really, really want to like.
Me too.
I'm
with you.
The singer, I listen to interviews. I read interviews from him. He's a really, really intelligent guy.
Yeah.
He knows the business. He's really well spoken. I just can't get into him.
I tried, and I got the second record, maybe. Set It on Fire or something like that. Set the World on Fire. When they look like Motley Crue, kind of. And I bought it because they all look like Motley Crue. They look like they were Nikki Sixx's kids, you know? I bought the record and I went, hey, this ain't that bad. This is pretty cool. And then I backtracked, listened to their first record, little emo-ish. Then their record that came out after that, I'm like, all right, it's kind of heavy, but still has that little bit of that emo whine that I can't get into the hymns and the stuff like that. And I really tried. It just didn't do nothing for me. That whiny kind of thing, just that emo kind of sound, just everything goes, you know, I love halftime stuff, but I like halftime when Biohazard does it or somebody like that, where it's heavy, then it goes halftime. You know, all these bands go halftime and then it's just this big open whiny chorus. And it's just like, I mean, dude, I love halftime stuff. You know, I think that's great.
It's got like a cool groove.
Oh, it just changes, you know, where the singer stays to where he's at and the drums go halftime. It sounds fucking amazing. But when they do it with this new stuff, it's just like, and I want to really like Black Veil Brides, even though their cover Unholy was pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Mike, do you know anything about the Black Veil Brides?
I mean, I heard some stuff. I don't know. I think I'm a little more picky these days too.
Hey, what you think?
But even then, when did they come out?
Long. They got 5-6 records out, right?
So put this in perspective. Their first album came out probably 12, 13 years ago.
That's crazy. They're not a new band anymore.
Now let's just say, let's go back to 1995. Okay. We're going to go back 12, 13 years. We'll pick Motley Crue. Okay. Right now it's 1995. Would you consider Motley Crue in 1995 a new band?
Way.
They've been around the same amount of time as Black Veil Brides at that point.
No, I would think they were an older band.
They probably had the same amount of records at that point.
At that point, they would be you. If you were a band that survived, you'd be at your peak or starting to go down. You know
what I mean? Like 1986, when say Cinderella came out, right? 4 years later, they're on their third record. Are they still considered a new band? No, I wouldn't consider that. No,
me neither.
So it's like now, like we all do it. I do it. You do it.
I do it. Yeah.
Every friggin' music fan around does it now.
Anything after the 2000s
is new. Right? Yeah. That's where we're at right now.
It is. Like, you know, I'm still borderline going, hey, Alice in Chains was new. That was the change. You know, it's so weird. But
and what's that tell you? What's that tell you? There's nobody coming taking the reins, taking it over. That's why.
You know what a lot of it is too, and if it is just like a rock and roll band, it's like we heard it before, and like you got to bring something of yours to the table. You know, you got to make it yours with traces of others. Like nobody really changes things up. I mean, System of a Down might have been the last band to really go and make it big doing like what they did. You know,
they're totally different. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. But so, and I would have thought they would have been the band, but after 5 albums, they were like, we're done for a bit.
Yeah, and they're not exactly young. You know, they're not young guys. They're not much younger than us. If they are younger than us, they might not even be younger than us.
But they were sort of new when we got into them. They were very new.
They were, and they had their own identity, their own sound, and nobody sounds like them.
And they've been around 25 years now,
at least.
Close to it.
And that's another thing, like these bands that, you know, when we grew up, the Kisses, even the Sabbaths, and, you know, they were putting albums out. So, you know, a band like the Beatles, you would have thought the Beatles, you know, if it was now, the Beatles would have 3 records. You know, they made 25 records in like 10 years or whatever. I mean, really, even Kiss. But it seems like that was the pattern. You know, back in the 70s and stuff, like the bands that we like would put out like an album or 2 a year. And then when it came to the 80s, it was like every 2 years was a record. And then the late 80s, every 3-4 years was a record. And then now it's like every 5 years, 8 years. It's so weird, you know?
Yeah, they tour longer on it now. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Well, the whole business has changed now. Now it's like, what was it then? It was like you put out your tour promotes the album. Now it's the other way around. Now your album promotes tour.
It's crazy.
Now bands will put in an album to find a reason to tour. Before it was you put out the record and you toured to promote the record.
Right.
You know?
How about this one? And this, I want to like this band too. And this band, I mean, great musicians. The vocals are great, but I've heard it before and everybody likes this band and I really want to like them. And they're good, but they're good. But it's not like, oh, wow, for me, is Rival Sons. And they're older guys. They don't look young.
Yeah, they've been another band's been around over 10 years.
Yeah.
I want to like them too. You know,
Yeah.
There's a couple things here and there that I like.
I mean,
But,
they're like a Shinedown kind of band, but I heard
Yeah.
Shinedown do it, you know?
right. Yeah. It's something about, I mean, maybe they just write good songs and not me, or maybe they write good enough songs to me. I don't know.
Yeah, the songs are
good
good,
enough.
but there's nothing that goes, oh shit, I got to rewind that and hear it again.
Yeah, there's a couple songs I hear on the radio that's definitely stick out. But
Mhm.
yeah, I listened to the records on Spotify. You know, I remember last year I really tried. I pushed myself, almost forced myself to listen
Mhm.
to get into them. I just could not do it. I had the records all day on repeat.
Yeah.
You know, through Spotify, listen to the whole discography. It just nothing really stuck out. But I got
Good.
friends that
It's
are-
good
that
stuff,
swear
but
by it.
it's not like I have to listen to this stuff. If I don't know if it makes any sense, but it's good. The musicians are good. The vocals are great. But, you know, it's like, you know, we all heard that saying before, you know, where's the chorus? Where's the chorus? You know, it's missing choruses.
Yeah, that one mid-tempo one, it's on the radio all the time. That's I can't remember the name of it, but I hear it in my head. Like it's a good,
Right.
definitely
They're
a good
band.
song. You know, it deserves it. But yeah, man, I want to love them too. It's just
Me too. They got everything I like, you know, but
yeah.
you know,
There's
Might
a few.
be-
There's another band like them. There's
Volbeat.
Blackberry Smoke.
You know what? Blackberry Smoke, I actually like.
Yeah. Now there's another one with a similar name. Blackstone Cherry.
I like Blackstone Cherry.
But yeah, Blackberry Smoke I like a lot.
I like them both. Yeah.
Actually, some of the more like country southern rock stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably more towards the country stuff, but they play them on, you know, on rock radio. Like
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton, I actually really like a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's a great songwriter. I think he's like, it's more like southern rock, I think, but
Yeah. The Southern Rock.
it's
Blackberry
they put him in that
Smoke.
country
Blackberry
category
Smoke
for
is a
some-
real. That's one of the like. I
Yeah.
usually wouldn't like that stuff, but I think Blackberry Smoke is awesome.
Mhm.
And I like the. I'm not a country guy, but I like the country twang in there. I like it works. And
Right.
same thing. I don't think they're young guys either.
No, they've been all those bands
They're
have been
around.
around. They're well into their 30s. That's for
Right.
sure. They're not kids.
Yep. Yep. Blackstone Cherry, same thing. I mean, they've been around they came out when they were young when they came out. That's another great band. I mean, the first two records I absolutely love. The first two Blackstone Cherry records.
Yeah.
Singer's got a great voice. He's got that southern scratch.
Mhm.
A good band, and I think the drummer's father was in the Kentucky Headhunters. If you remember that
really?
country band from back in the day, yeah. I seen them live. I was working at the Electric Factory, and I worked one of their shows, and they were nice guys, and they sounded great. I mean, they were great.
Yeah,
live.
yeah.
But I like them. But same thing, if they were going to break the door and be this big household name where somebody's mother knows them that shouldn't know them, you know what I mean? It's not there. We said Blackstone Cherry, you know, I don't know who's going to know it besides
Right.
unless you're really in the music, you know.
Yeah.
Mike D, any name you want to throw out there?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, especially for this band, and I'm going to say because this band's been out 12 years, but King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, they're still young though.
And they're still
Say that
young.
name again?
Yeah.
That's that
King
band. He
Gizzard
loves that
and the
band.
Lizard Wizard. Awesome name. And that's what actually attracted me to the band was I saw that name and I'm like, what the fuck? I got to hear what this band sounds like. And lucky for me, I actually picked the decent one because at this point they probably had about 7 albums out in the 4 years they were around. So
Yeah.
that's a lot. But I picked a good one, which got me into them and kind of grew with them. And at this point, I've been listening to them about 5 years, and they're having, I think, at the end of this week on Friday, they're going to have their 18th album out. So that's a lot of albums in 12 years.
Yeah.
And you could actually see how they kind of progressed and got better with each album. And like you said earlier, they are a band that does their own stuff, like production and everything.
Yeah.
But what you read from him, it seems like they're in the process of also learning as they do, because they work with some people here and there. And he says, like,
they sound like
pick
they're
up
musicians.
tips.
They're probably school
They,
musicians.
they're musicians, and I think they're rock stars on top of that too. And you know, I think, you know, they put out one big one that catches some radio or whatever, you know, mass audience on YouTube or whatever, they're gonna be pretty big.
Yeah,
it's all up to what they want to do, and
I think they're going to be big underground. They'll be a band.
They already
huge.
are. They already
that's a band that I don't think they're going to play. Whatever they call the Spectrum now. I don't think they're going to play there, but they'll play the Electric Factory and pack it.
Right. I think they played
theater or something.
They might have played the Troc right before.
Well, they'll pack the Troc. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they're a big hit or two away from just breaking it big. They're still young enough. I think they're about 28, 29 years old.
I think here lies the problem with them, where I don't think they'll break out of that underground big thing. I mean, look, being big, without being like a huge radio hit. I mean, it's been done. It's been successful, but they're too jammy to come out. If you're going to be on the radio,
they broke out of that a bit. It depends on what they want to do. If they want to put out a heavy metal album, they'll put out a heavy. If they want to put out a folk album, they'll put out. They kind of just. I mean, that's what's stopping it.
Not
too.
to jump off the subject,
they're a chameleon
but
band.
Weezer put out a record saying it was going to be a metal record. It didn't sound that metal to me. It didn't sound like 80s metal to me.
Nothing at all.
I was hoping it was going to be this 80s metal thing. It wasn't.
The only thing metal was the font. That's all, man. That is it.
I tapped on that one after about 5 tracks. I'm like, I can't do anymore.
I'm like, it's not what we thought.
I really liked Weezer, back in the day a lot. They were a surprise band for me.
I surprisingly liked a little bit of them. Yeah.
I don't mind them, but when you're trying to sell it one way and it sounds like fucking everything else.
Yeah, it's not even close. How about here's a band that I really, really, really like, and I love her voice, The Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, I agree.
She's a rock star.
Oh yeah,
she's a rock star.
Right, and she's got the whole mysterious vibe too.
Yep.
And I love her voice. She's got that real.
Me too. Raspy,
kind of low. Yeah, real sexy voice. And
they're one of my favorite, if you want to call them, newer bands, even though they got like 3-4 records out.
Yeah, well, I saw them early on.
You seen them live?
A couple times. Yeah,
nice,
I saw them.
Nice.
I saw them at the TLA. This is like 2014, 13, or 2013 or 14. And the reason why I went is because this new band that I friggin' loved at the time called Heaven's Basement.
Oh yeah, I heard of them.
That's a band that could have.
They could have been.
That would have been that they were my choice to be the next big band, because that record was that Heaven's Basement record was great, and they toured on it for like 2 years, nonstop, and you saw them
building up.
Building up. They started getting.
They had a buzz. They definitely had a buzz,
and then they broke up.
Yeah,
but I saw them open up for the Pretty Reckless, and I only went just to see this band Heaven's Basement open up. And me and Jaron, we used to, really be into that band. Well, we saw the Pretty Reckless. This might have been on their first record, I thought. She's
got it. That's my pick for breakout. I think she has a chance of, if she's not there almost already.
Now it seems like. It's definitely different than it was before, where like 1-2 records you could break out and play arenas. Now it's definitely like a slow, it's a slow burn. Build. It's a slow build. It's like, seems like 6 to 10 years to get to that point.
I think a lot of it is that there's no more MTV, even though you could YouTube everything and find stuff, but there's nothing. The problem, and I said this a billion times, the problem and the greatness of the internet. The greatness of the internet is, man, you could find anything, and anybody, any one of us could put something out and maybe catch a break or have people hear us. Like your common idiot could put something out no matter what you do, whether it's a film, a video, a song. You can do anything you want, a blog, a vlog, whatever the hell you want to call it. You can do whatever you want.
Podcast.
Podcast. There's 1,000 of us around now, right? I mean, we're even doing one, right? So the bad thing is, and not that you want to be sheep-led, but it used to be, they would, record companies would go, here's our 4 bands. We're going to funnel everybody towards these 4 bands. And guess what? It works. If 2 out of the 4 or 1 out of the 4 work, they usually get big, because that's the way they did it. They almost tell you, they force feed you without knowing you're getting force fed.
Oh yeah. Well, they put you on MTV. MTV was just basically a commercial. It was just basically a commercial. It was more important than radio.
Absolutely.
Seeing something on on
And then
MTV.
here's another bitch that I got that me and Damien were actually bitching about. I don't know if Mike might have heard some of this conversation too, is that, okay, even the classic bands, the Motley Crues, I don't know, friggin' whoever from the 80s or 90s that are still, or even Kiss, that's still putting stuff out here and there, they don't play their new song. They keep playing their old song. Give the new song a chance. Maybe the new song will bring. The last band I think that did that, and not that many people talked about it, was Tesla had like a top 20 hit a couple of years ago, which was out of the blue kind of deal.
Right. Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Mm-hmm. They don't give these older bands a shot.
Not at all. And someone put out great
records.
Great records.
They get lost. They totally get lost in shuffle.
Yeah, you have to do a Geico commercial to become famous again.
That's what you need. I mean, now it's like there's no MTV, but if you get your song on a commercial, that's
right.
Sort of like the equivalent
like
of being
Eddie Money. Eddie Money got that huge bit of fame like right before he died again.
Yeah. Well, it's like if Poison put out, another song that was as big as, or a song that was written and just as big as, as far as writing goes, as far as Nothing But a Good Time, they wouldn't play it. They wouldn't play it. They would just play the old stuff.
That's why some of those bands, they don't even, it's like, what's the point of putting new music out?
Yeah. And I want to hear new music from those bands. I want to hear more, Kiss or more Deep Purple or Iron Maiden. I'm always up to hear more of that stuff. But like you said, it's like a greatest hits fest.
I listen to satellite radio all the time, like Ozzy's Boneyard or or Hair Nation or something. And those bands are always putting out new records, but they never play anything from the new records. It's
people
like,
I think are still relevant.
I think Ozzy's got a little play.
He does.
Stuff.
He's different.
Metallica does.
Yeah, there's the generals, or like the Ozzies, the Sabbaths, not Sabbaths, the Ozzies, the Metallicas.
The next tier down.
Yeah,
it's like you don't.
I'm
really
sorry.
say much.
I know we just did that Ozzy one, and I'm going to say it right now. And he's such an oddity because, man, at 70 years old, that last album he put out,
I love it.
Like, to me, I probably should have put it higher. I couldn't for some weird reasons, but that was an awesome album. That was great. Because he had a great album.
He's got a great machine behind him. They set him up. I mean, who's like the biggest rock dude? If you want rock, I guess Post Malone is like the biggest out there right now. One
of them, one of the big names
in the so-called borderline rock world. Well, they were fucking smart. They got his producer to work with Ozzy, wrote all the songs for him and everything, assembled an all-star band. It's going to be great. When you have a current producer, the guy who's producing all Post Malone stuff,
right.
it's
right.
Genius.
Yeah. If you have a producer that's still, I don't care if it's the biggest producer in the world. If you have a producer that's still producing the way he produced in the 80s or the 90s, you can't. You got to roll with the times. You got to stay relevant. The only thing I don't like now, and I probably mentioned before, was I hate that the vocals are so up close. I want the vocals to be a little more in the mix, where a lot of these like singers are just, and some of these singers have no reason to be up. I don't want to be up close. I want to be in the mix. I don't want to. Who don't want to hear my voice? You know what I mean?
It's like they mix it like it's not like a good blend. It's not like a good mix. Like they put just coasting over everything. Like it's right in the center, right in the. Yep. It just sounds weird.
Where if you listen to even like some of the vinyl now, you listen to the old records, dude, especially with the vinyl, which is weird because I think you even hear more with the vinyl. You hear the drums being panned, like you hear different. Like you're hearing bells coming out of here. You don't hear that many tricks anymore with rock music. Little nuances and stuff like that in the background, little keyboard stuff, and the trick with the tambourine. It's like little stuff. Like this heavy song, it's got tambourine in it. You don't even know it. You know what I mean? Because
you don't even hear it.
You don't hear it, but it's moving the song. That little tambouриne's moving the song.
I'll even say like. What was it? I saw this King Gizzard. They're playing live. This guy's got this two maracas, man. He's fucking shaking these maracas.
That's real good. So you're maracas yourself.
Yeah, but it's like you don't realize it until you see him doing it. You're like, oh shit, I hear that now. It's like
it's these little things, man. It's these little things.
Yeah.
But Yeah, here goes a band that I'm going to throw out there. And I got to say, they have a lot of top 10 hits, man. I think they're okay. They were a little heavier when they first came out, I think. But the singer could actually sing. But they seem like to be the biggest trendy band now. It's Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They write big songs.
They're pretty good.
I'm not really into them. I'm not a hater. To me, they're like a second
Nickelback, like a heavier Nickelback.
Them Nickelback and what's that other band you mentioned? Them Shinedown. They're like sort of all in the same family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people call them. It's like bro rock.
That's good.
You know?
That's a good one.
Like like gym dudes and like bros that don't even really listen to music. They like
that kind of stuff, like the college.
Hey, whatever. That's what you want. That's what you need.
But Shinedown.
Yeah,
I don't.
If you're looking for a formula to become the next big rock, what's that?
Like a band like Shinedown, that Sound of Madness record is unbelievable. Like from top to bottom, I love that record.
I just can't. That singer's voice.
He's
People
good,
love his voice.
I think he's great.
That's my. That's almost like my Greta Van Fleet voice.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking hate it.
I mean, I tap out on Miles Kennedy, even though he's good. I can't do the Miles Kennedy after 2 songs.
I like Miles, but that's an acquired.
I'm trying to. What's Shinedown? What's he? He's kind of got that like raspy voice, right?
It's the
Raspy,
Nickelback.
powerful.
It's the Nickelback Creed kind of voice, but maybe a little more bluesier.
A little more powerful.
Yeah, he's definitely the best of.
He's the best. Yeah,
sure.
Well, it's like when we hear a band, like we were watching some band the other night. I forget what they were called. The band was really, really good, and the singer had that kind of Shinedown voice. I'm going, I just listen to Shinedown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they were good live. I've seen them live a couple times. They were real good. Yeah, I kind of dig the Shinedown. I'm a Shinedown.
Who was that other one? I thought it was interesting, but it was long, and it was like Gorgia or something like that.
Gorgia is cool.
The French band.
Yeah, they're cool. Those guys.
They were different. They're different.
To me, it seemed very like math rock kind of.
Yeah, they're definitely like.
You laugh when I say that every time. I'm not talking about like like Schoolhouse Rock or nothing. I'm talking like like there's like just crazy, proggy. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. They're definitely. There's been a buzz about them for a while. They're going to be like the next big metal band for sure.
But for me, it was like it was long. The more I got into it, the more because at first it was just kind of noise. But then once it kind of, I forget, I don't even know the title of the song I watched, but it sounded like it formed more musically for me, and it was kind of cool. It would have been better if it went somewhere. It was kind of long.
A little long.
It was cool. Like I'm going to have to look a little bit more into them and see what else they
put
have.
Out a new record.
It just came out. It just came out.
Just came out.
But they're a French band, right?
I think they all live here.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird because there is a lot of good bands out there, but I don't know. It's the songs. I mean, talent-wise, there's a shitload of talent out there. But as far as what's that radio breakthrough? What's that big? I mean, dance music and pop music and rap music's just crushing it compared to the stuff we listen to. You know what I mean? We still go back to the old stuff. The last, one of the last.
You need
records,
the personalities. You need the personalities.
Yeah,
that's like the missing ingredient now.
You know what album I bought, and God only knows how long it's been, but when that Operator album came out, I thought that was a great record. I don't know if you ever heard the Operator record. Very Guns N' Roses.
I think I remember liking that.
Oh, it's so good. It's a Guns N' Roses meets I don't know, but it's what we like,
Dude, you remember rock? Remember that one at the Giraffes when that came out? Like I was
the first Giraffes record was great. I don't know if Dame you might like the Giraffes, Dame.
Oh my god.
Oh, good stuff.
That album was just ridiculous good.
Yeah. And I got to send you that.
Yeah, check him out.
But then it was like I was looking like every year, man, every so many months, and they weren't putting anything else out.
Yeah.
And then I think they put something out. And it kind of just was like
wasn't as good.
And then I think the singer had to retire or something like that because he was having heart problems. So kind of like a bummer,
Yeah, but I mean, who's the next breakout star? You know what I mean? We got, Wolfie's coming out with a record. I think it comes out, and by the time this airs, it'll probably be out for a couple of days.
It'll be out, yeah.
So, I heard a couple tracks from that. I like what I heard. Is that going to be the big breakthrough? I don't know, but I dug what I heard. You know, I think the next big breakthrough is going to be, it's going to be the Pretty Reckless. I really do.
Yeah,
she's got everything.
And their record just came out, but they're not touring this summer or this year
because of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's good, if they're going to play in something for the end of the year, but you know, everybody's announcing their tours now. They're trying to get a jump start on the next guy because there's only a certain amount of money people could spend.
Yeah,
and when you have dozens and dozens of bands going out on tour, your money's going to be really limited. And people thought Ticketmaster was going to have lower prices to lure people back in.
They're getting higher.
That's not happening.
No, they're trying to make that money back. They're trying to make that money back, man. Like the last band that I actually had almost, I don't want to say totally, but almost that Kiss factor where I'm like, oh my God, I bought all their vinyl records like immediately, was Ghost. That caught my attention.
I got into them,
you know,
a little bit later. I used to put them in the Black Veil Bride category. It took me a few records, right? When I finally got it, you know.
Yeah, they popped it up a little bit more as they went along, and it worked.
And that's what I liked. Yeah.
That prequel album, the last record. Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw them live. Like shit like that. That's
fucking
real super
great.
catchy, man.
I never seen them
wait
live
for their next record.
I
saw them twice.
How were they live? Good.
Yeah. Great live, man. And that's another guy. He wants to be a fucking rock star.
Oh, he's got the He's got the mystique.
Yeah,
the songs are good.
The charisma.
Yeah, and I heard the stuff he did before, and it was just, you know, just would get, you know, if they were wrestlers, they would be mid-card guys. They were good, but just in the middle, you know.
Right.
But Ghost is great.
You know what I kind of liked? I think I saw like some kind of live clip of them. I don't know if it was playing acoustically or something like that. And he's from, what is he, like Sweden or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got the accent, but he's got this presence to him, and he talks to the crowd. He's got some humor to him.
Oh, he's got humor.
You know, so it's like
real tongue in cheek. Yeah.
You know, you're not seeing some kid up there that's trying to mock his favorite band and falling flat on his face.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, the gimmick works. You know, it's a gimmick. You know what I mean? All that. Yeah. It's a gimmick. And if you listen,
but that's what's good about them.
It's great.
That's kind of cool.
I love that if you listen to the words and the whole crowd singing the words, they really know what they're saying. You know, it's funny. But he's got humor to him. Oh, man, like, I seen the acoustic thing, and he's like, come on, Ralphie, come on. And he's like, you know, hitting the thing, and he's like, oh, 1 and a 2. And he's got a lot of humor to him, and he sounds great. Whatever, he found his niche, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I liked him from the first record, and I only listen. The only reason why you listen to Ghost the first time, I see James Hetfield with a T-shirt. I'm going, who the hell's this band? I put them on. I was like, wow, it sounds like Merciful Fate. And then it kind of built up.
There was a nice buzz. Yeah, there was always a buzz with them. And it's always cool to see that buzz and see a band keep slowly rising.
And I think they will. I think the next one will be even bigger. And
well, they were playing arenas on that last tour. I know they played the Forum in LA, and they played that Barclays Center in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them at the Tower Theater on the same tour. So I think like select cities where they knew they're big enough, like the majors. Huge cities,
and they caught a good gig. I mean, they were opening for Maiden for a while too.
Yeah, they always got great opening slots, you know, on tours and stuff.
But that was the last band that I was like, oh, I gotta listen to this band. And you know, I love the gimmick stuff. So you know, but the songs held up. It just wasn't the gimmick. The songs held up, and the whole mystique of it, where you know, it's still him, but he changes to each character.
Well, I love
stories,
it. Yeah.
You know, even the EP they put out, like, are the 2-song 7-inch that they put out, where it was talking about Papa Emeritus, whatever, or however you say his name, and they were showing like the
Emeritus.
70s, Emeritus. So they were showing like the 70s thing, and they were showing the flashback of him in the 70s, and they came out with 2 songs that had the 70s sound to it. It's just done so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a genius, man. That guy's
he is
a genius. But
so a band like that, I mean, again, like, to me, I guess now it's like 10 years. If you've been around 10 years, it's still considered new, you know? Or you know what? Shit, man. If you're not mainstream and you've been around 20 years, I guess you're new.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's so weird.
What is new anymore?
It's so weird. Like, I mean, I don't know how you guys think. The last big thing that I was attracted to that I was like, I had to hear was Ghost. How about you, Dave? What was the last thing you went like, oh shit?
Well, I mean, well, that one band, Heaven's Basement, I'll go back to them because I heard that they're single, and then they're from England, so they didn't tour here for a while, and then they came to New York for a video shoot at this little club, Bowery Electric, and me and Jaron went up to New York for their video shoot, and they wound up doing like a whole show. Man, that's like that. We had to go to New York to see them, because it's the only time they're in America, So that's like maybe like the last band that really made me
had that wow factor for you.
Yeah. As for a new band, like on their first record, playing that.
How about you, Mike? Anybody that is it King Gizzard? Was that the band that was like wow for you?
Well, I mean, I mentioned them. I'm not going to say them again, and this isn't even a metal band really, but I kind of found them by accident. I think we were listening to some different shit one night, and Alt J popped up, and then I started listening to them, and they're kind of like poppy, artistic, kind of folky sometimes, and they do their own thing. Lyrically, they're kind of twisted. Their videos are twisted. And, they have 3 albums that they've been out for a while. So I'm kind of like in a little anticipation of them putting out something.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them. I really don't know too much about them. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to their, there's definitely a rise in vinyl records right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been buying them.
Physical content that people buy.
Oh, it's awesome. The packaging. I mean, if it's got good packaging, like I'm waiting on the 2 at Queensryche. I'm waiting to come in the mail right now. I think late June it gets released. So I pre-ordered Operation Mindcrime and Empire. So I'm waiting for them. I wish they would do Rage for Order. I mean, they're the 3 I need, they're the 3 I want, But I don't know. Is there anything exciting that's coming out this year that you're looking forward
to? I think Ghost is going to have a new record this year.
I'm hoping. If not, probably early next year, but I'm hoping. But I'm looking at the list of stuff that came out. There's really nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's nothing that I'm like really.
That's another thing. Like in the past, they would say, "Oh yeah, so and so's new album is going to be out." Whenever, and it was going to come out like in the summer or the fall. Yeah. Now it's like, "Oh yeah, our new album's coming out next month."
Yeah,
they kind of a lot like the new marketing thing is to keep everything on the wraps, and then record's coming out in 2 months or whatever, Yeah, and then they'll pop out like 5 singles before it comes out, and then it's like, well, I heard half the record.
Right.
I remember, just going to like Tower Records every week, and I would go from A to Z, looking for everything like new that would come out, and like, oh shit, man, Faith No More put a new album out. I didn't know they had something out.
Yeah.
So
surprise.
Yeah. And this was kind of like right before the internet started. So it was like, there was like either buy magazines or whatever. But, if you didn't do that, you just walked around the store and found their new shit was out for your favorite bands. And so.
Yeah. Now you know everything.
Right. You literally know like what they're eating. They have fans only pages.
Well, it's like magazines. It's why you can't have a magazine now. I mean, you're 3 months behind,
Right. Yeah.
Everything's behind. You got to be online and you got to put it out. I mean, shit, we used to buy magazines because the pictures, I used to collect the pictures and I used to do all that stuff.
To 7-Eleven or Pathmark supermarket or whatever, always buy magazines, man.
I used to love it. Yeah.
Go to a supermarket with my grandmother or my mom, and it's like, all right, I'll be in the magazine aisle. You come back and get me when you're done.
And that's how we found a lot of new bands, like Metal Edge. Metal Edge was in my staple.
That was my favorite. That always seemed
Metal
like,
Edge.
They always had like the best news, like on everybody.
It was a fun magazine. They would ask goofy questions. They would do a track by track, which I thought was cool. If a band was putting out a record, they would kind of track by track. And
Metal Wire.
Yeah. There was
Metal Wire they had.
And remember back in the day, the poster magazines where they used to come out a couple times a year was just like, say Kiss. It would just be all posters.
Or,
they were great.
Motley Crue Spectacular.
Yeah. And the thing would be like, oh man, I got to buy 2 of these now because there's 2 good pictures.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're like arguing with yourself, man, I got to spend another $5-6 because I want that same picture. It's on the back of another good damn picture, you know?
A couple of times we would go at the Pathmark and we would just read the Metal Edge magazines, right? And I knew that, and this particular time, they used to have a pharmacy and they had a separate entrance for the pharmacy at Pathmark. So you could walk in through the pharmacy. And one time I noticed that they had a copy machine. So this is a confession time.
Uh-oh.
So with that in my head, I went to the magazine aisle and I'm reading Metal Edge. And I was like, I got an idea. So I take the magazine. I walk over to the pharmacy where they had the Xerox machine. I lift up the Xerox machine like I'm pretending I'm making a copy from the page, like I brought the magazine in, and then I just walk out the door with the magazine. So I think I actually did make a copy of
That's funny.
Something in the middle, and it was like 15 cents or whatever. So the magazine, I did that for like 2 or 3 months, and I was like, eventually I'm probably going to get caught. So I used to rip off Metal Edge at the Pathmark by pretending I used to Xerox.
I hear sirens coming in the background.
Yeah, they're coming for me. Yeah,
that Jerry Miller would have came and got you.
Yeah.
But dude, that was the magazine, man. And then Hit Parader was kind of cool. Circus I used to buy all the time, and Metal Edge, Circus, Hit Parader. They were like probably.
Yeah, and then I used to go to Tower Books later on when I was a couple years older, and then they had like the Kerrang and all the import.
Yeah, the import ones, which Kerrang was always like, ooh,
Yeah, which were always better because they would have bands that you never even heard of.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I kind of like Rip. Remember Rip? Rip was good.
Rip I like too, yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
Rip was a little more cutting edge too,
Yeah.
Sort of like the American Kerrang.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, you would always, hear bands that, like there was bands like, they always talk about this one band from England, Skunk Anansie. Still to this day, you still never heard of them.
I never heard of them.
Yes. They had a song on a Strange Days soundtrack.
Yeah.
There you go.
I remember it was kind of pretty cool. Like the black chick singer.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
With like a mohawk or something.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Bald head or something. Yeah.
I think they were actually in the movie. Yeah.
So they would have them in the magazine every month, and then they would have Cradle Filth in the magazine every month. And the only way you were going to hear them back then is if you spend $17 for a CD. So I was like, I don't know if I want to spend $17 for Cradle Filth CD because they look pretty damn cool, and I probably wouldn't have been into them anyway. But still, like Skunk Anansie, I still have.
I can't even say the name. That's good.
I remember the name.
I have that soundtrack. That was actually a pretty good song.
I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look them up.
Right
when we hang up, I'm going to look them up.
Yeah.
Because that was probably, that movie, 90s? I'm going to probably mid-90s because that was taking place before 2000 because that was the big thing in the movie. It was the year 2000.
Yeah, so all the British bands, because the shit that was going on, we talked about it many times. Like, I wasn't really into the stuff that was going on in America.
What, Damien? I'm glad you said that because there's times, man, and I'll flip like stuff I find on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, this band's really cool. I like this band. You look them up. Wow, they're from England. Oh, this band. Oh, they're from Australia. Or this band. Oh, where are they from? Oh, Canada. This band sucks. Where are they from? Oh, they're from America. This band sucks. Where are they from? America. Right. This band sucks. America. It's like all the stuff like Cookie Cutter comes from America.
It's like dumbed down shit.
Right. Like all these other countries like to venture and, try different things, do different things.
Interesting. They look different. They sound different. Yeah.
Right. And America, we're stagnant. We're stagnant with the music. And it's about time we step the fuck up.
Yeah. Seems like it's always been that way. Yeah. I would read in like when all the Seattle and alternative scene and then industrial, when that was all big in the 90s, I was looking for something else.
But guess what? Industrial was pretty much like a German themed kind of music.
Yeah.
So
that just wasn't my thing. Like when people,
I liked it, like 9 Inch stuff. I loved 9 Inch Nails back in the day.
Never got into it, but I would read all these bands in the British magazines. Like I said, Skunk Anansie. They would the Helicopters, the Wild Hearts, and a couple of those
Wild
bands.
Hearts were cool. Yeah,
Wild
They're pretty
Hearts
good.
and Helicopters.
Wild Hearts, I like them.
I really liked, but they never come to America.
Yeah.
So it's like, but they're the bands that if I lived in England, I'd probably be, catch them. I'd probably be like my Pearl Jam or something,
Yeah. Yeah, dude. The state of music is just, it's really, I don't even know. It's just open for rock music. It's just so, I don't know what the next big thing's going to be, and it's not going to be immediate, evidently.
No. So that's what I was ready to say. So like, I think what we all came about is that new bands isn't really what you think anymore. New was probably within 10 years.
Yeah.
And it takes a hell of a lot longer to be the big shit.
Yeah, it's like
it takes more than 2-3 years to be an overnight sensation now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These rock bands are like boy bands with a little edge. It's like,
like you listen to radio, like Imagine Dragons, and who's that other? It's like,
and they got some catchy stuff out. I'll admit, I like a few of their tracks, but there's another band that's sort of like them. I can't think of their name.
That's
right
the
now,
new sound. That slow kind of.
Yeah.
It's cool when you first hear it. Then you can say it gets cookie cut it.
Yeah, but like, why? It's like, why is this on like the hard rock station? To me, it's not.
It's kind of dance pop with a little bit of rock edge in there,
Yeah, with a little bit of hip hop like mixed in. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Hip hop flavor.
And they use some of that. They use some of that stuff, and they're older guys. And just because I like Jericho, I can't help it. But I fucking love the Fozzy. I love Fozzy. I think Fozzy's freaking awesome, and they're older.
I haven't heard the new song yet.
It's okay. The new song's okay. It's not as good as the last one. It's good, but it's not as good as the last one. I think they're great. They found it probably took them to maybe the album before Judas. I don't know if it was Skin and Bones or something. It took them a while before I think they got their sound.
Yeah.
And now they got their sound. It's like, it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it. They're dancey beats mixed in, and there's some sampling stuff going on too, but it's still rock.
Yeah.
I think that's
got the Jericho presence too. So
and Jericho's got a huge presence. Yeah. I mean, did you pick up the Judas record? It's so good.
Nah, but I heard a few tracks on it.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know.
I heard it. It's pretty good.
It's good.
I mean, not really like, it's not my listening thing. It's good for what it is. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, when I put on a record, it's like, back in the day, we would listen to stuff that would, I could listen to I'm going to go out and have a good time, or I'm going to go chill and have a good time, and listen to the Motleys, even the Poisons and the Warrants and the Skid Rows. And then if you wanted to get dark, you listen to the Sabbath, the Alice in Chains, you want something pop, maybe Nirvana, yeah, it was more what mood you were in, it's weird. Now it's just like, and we have that anything goes mentality as far as what we like, like sometimes I want to hear something heavy, sometimes I want to hear something light, sometimes I want to hear something acoustic,
Like, I feel if it's good, it's good. Like, I don't want to have to say I have to listen to heavy metal. Heavy metal.
Good music is good music.
Right. If Poison put out a song today and it was a great song, I'd be like, it's a great song, But it's so tough, like we said, for these older bands to get recognition now. You're stuck in that time zone. So I'm gonna throw out a year, a decade. Tell me the first band you think of, Dane. The 70s.
First band that came to my mind was Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh wow, there you go.
Actually, and that's a band that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah, a lot of good tunes, man.
If you never really check them out, listen to like the first few records. God damn, that's a band I discovered way late.
Yeah.
Like really got into them like 3 years ago. Man,
yeah, dude, that Captain song, is that what that Captain song? I don't know if that's the title.
Yeah, but dude, they got some songs that are like, that aren't on the radio that are so good, if not better.
They're a good band. Mike D.
Yeah, I don't know too much of them, really.
Yeah,
so, I'm going to go with Zeppelin.
Zeppelin's the first thing you think of, understandably. I'm going to go with Kiss. That's the first thing I think of. 70s, 80s. Dame, first band that pops in your mind.
Poison was the first one that came to my mind.
Mike D.
Probably since you just mentioned.
I mean, I know it was later in it, but Guns N' Roses.
I'm gonna say Motley. That's the first thing that pops in my mind from Motley. The 90s, Damo.
Smashing Pumpkins.
There you go. Mike D.
Soundgarden.
Alice in Chains. Because we don't know nothing after this. We don't know how to separate the 2000s. So we'll say 2000s to now because I get lost. And there you have it.
I was gonna say Volbeat, but didn't they come out in the 90s?
Who knows? Yeah, they're still new. They're still a new band,
right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've been.
Don't
around
worry.
For a while.
In 2 years, they'll be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
So
I'm looking. I think they've been around for a while.
They have. I think they were another band before that too.
2001 they started. Okay,
so there you go.
That's a long 20 years.
Yeah, Mike D. What do you think in the 2000s and on? Who pops up?
For me, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard again.
Wow.
Where are you ever going to hear that name?
Yeah, only on this podcast.
Well, to me, that's like one of the bands like I found like, and I'm like, this is a band I can get into. Yeah. There's other bands I like and stuff like that, but to me, that's the biggest band that came out of that era.
I'm going to say anything. I don't know. I'm thinking it's the 2000s and on. Is Godsmack and Disturbed. I don't know if it's around that time, but they're the two that pop up in my mind that were relevant.
I think Disturbed was.
Were they 90s? Yeah.
Wow. I think Disturbed was 2000. I'm going to say they got.
I'm going to say I'm going to look now, but I think they were like 99, 2000-ish.
Wow.
But
I think Godsmack was a little bit before, maybe.
Oh yeah, Godsmack might have been. Geez, that might have been 92.
That's like 90. Yeah, mid 90s.
Oh wow. See, I'm lost.
Disturbed is they're formed in 94, but let me see when their first record came out.
I'm going to say 2000.
You're right, 2000.
Wow. That's still a long time.
That's a long 21 years. So yeah, that's a long time, dude. It's a long time.
I think Alice in Chains, I think their first record came out in 94, 95. I'm not Alice in Chains.
Godsmack, you mean?
Godsmack, yeah. Alice in Chains, yes, pretty much the same thing, right?
Alice in Chains might have been 89.
Yeah. I meant Godsmack. I mean, the name wasn't Alice in Chains.
Even Alice in Chains.
Did you know that they were Alice in Chains tribute band?
Yes. I knew that. But it's funny, like even Alice in Chains, before they changed their style of music, they weren't that good. When they were that kind of like a glammy band, man, it wasn't good. And then once they changed,
sounds like an 80s band.
Yeah. Once they changed, oh my God, big difference. It was a big difference. So
the first record was a straight up hard rock
record, total hard rock record. Yeah, absolutely. Now, like we were saying, like bands like Greta Van Fleet, and they had that Zeppelin thing. Alice in Chains. If you break down a lot of the music, it's Sabbath. But
oh yeah.
But the vocals,
their own thing on it.
It was their own thing.
Spin. Mm-hmm.
It was their own spin. So there you have it. Who's going to save rock and roll? We don't know. We don't know who the next big thing's going to be. So
I better do it.
Yeah, somebody has to do it, man. So I want to try a stupid game here. Okay, so you follow me because I'm going to be in this with you. If it's bad, we'll just cut it out. On the fly. All right, so we're all going to mention a band. I'm going to mention a band. The last letter of the band has to be the first letter of the next band you name.
Jeez.
Okay.
And then Mike D, same thing. So we'll go in a circle. So if I say something like Twisted Sister, R, you got to go with R. And so it's the last letter. You got to come up with the next.
That's rough.
Well, we'll see how long we do it. I'm going to start it off. I'll save that one. It might be a little hard.
This is a good drinking game.
Yeah, I'm going to start it off with Kiss. It'll go me,
Who's
Damien, Mike. Kiss.
Spinal Tap.
Poison.
Let's end. Nitro.
Ozzy.
Yes.
Ooh. Slipknot.
TNT.
Tesla.
Alcatraz.
Zebra.
Alice in Chains.
So it's S. Striper.
Rat.
Temple of the Dog.
I almost got stuck. Go-Go's.
Slayer.
Ours rough, man. Shit.
That's not an answer.
No, it's not.
Was that the timer?
Mike D.
Ramones. There you go. He
What'd you
said
say?
Ramones. Ramones.
So it gives me with an S again.
Another S.
Sick of it all.
L. Life of Agony.
Why, Mike?
Got me with the why? Why?
That's good.
Why, Damien? Why?
That's a tough letter.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mike D's out. Y and T.
Oh, so now it's just me and you.
Yep.
T. Tiger Tails.
Wow. S. Jesus. Sepultura.
Tiger Tails is with a Z.
Oh, Z.
Yeah.
Z. Oh. Wow. Oh. Wow. You have to count me down.
5, 4, 3, 2,
I'm out.
1.
Damo with the tire tails with a Z pulls it out. That was good, Dame. That was tough, man.
Yeah,
Damo.
I'm pretty sure it's a Z.
It works, yeah.
I've never even heard of that band.
Yeah, they've been around.
Wow.
They were there you go. They were a British glam band.
Wow.
It is with a Z. Yeah.
That's great. I was thinking XYZ. I'm like, oop, that's not a Z.
Yeah. Well, I said the only Z I could think of was zebra.
Zebra.
I said that one.
Yeah, who has to play this game again? Mixtapes and tasty cakes. See you guys next week.